Tim's story. It was my worst trip ever. When my college exams were finally over, I decided to surprise my then girlfriend Kathy with a weekend getaway to Las Vegas. She was really excited, and we decided to go by car because it was only 5 hour drive from Los Angeles. And what could possibly go wrong? Um, I picked her up at her dorm. I was the one driving, and she was the one at her passenger seat, uh, on the passenger seat, acting as my navigator. Mm, she'd planned the route in advance, and now was telling me to go straight or turn left or turn right, and I was pretending to follow her directions as though I knew the road perfectly well. And there was a GPS in my car, so there was no way to get lost. Soon after we set off, we got a flat tire, and an hour and a half, so we had to fix it up. An hour and a half or so, and a pair of greasy hands later, it was fixed, and we set off again. I hope this little accident wouldn't spoil the mood, and we would have a wonderful day regardless. Oh man, I've never been more wrong in my life. At that point, at a certain point, we felt a bit hungry, so we stopped at roadside cafe for lunch. It looked like an fashioned, old school fashion, typical old school American diner from the 60s with a nine sign on the roof. We left the car at the parking lot and went in. I ordered a chicken and French fries and a Coke, and Cassie had today's menu. We tasted the food. It wasn't very good, but at least it was hot and fresh. After that, we ordered some sandwiches from the takeaway menu, paid the bill, left tip for the waitress who was serving us, and headed to my car, and went out and headed to my car. And as we were heading to the car, I realized with a surge of panic that I left it unlocked, and it seemed that doors wasn't quite shut. So it was. My car was broken into, and the thief stole my iPad and Kathy's wallet, and worst of all, my favorite pair of sneakers. Who on earth steals sneakers? Of course, the thief wasn't found anywhere. The parking lot was empty, so we get in the car with bad mood, and drove off, as if getting robbed wasn't bad enough. In 15 miles, I felt sick, getting an increased sick in my stomach, and it wasn't just me. Kathy felt nauseous, and she asked me to stop the car because she was about to throw up. These were symptoms of all the symptoms of food poisoning, and we had to take some pills from my first aid kit, and I hoped they would help. Being so busy, we didn't notice that we had the car had been running out of gas. Uh, so we were running out of gas, and to our horror, our GPS navigator didn't show there any gas stations around, and we had to. So we were standing in the desert with no fuel and no hope, and we pulled over to the side of the road and sat on the road waiting for some car, but there wasn't any in sight. And but we were sitting and in half an hour or so, a huge truck, a huge cargo truck stopped by. Kathy was waving like crazy at the sign of human presence, and he got down and asked what happened, and he was very helpful and lent us some gas so we could make it to the nearest gas station to fill up the tank. At last we found one and refilled the tank and resumed our nightmare journey. At a certain point, Kathy's lost all her patience and started yelling at me for ruining her weekend. She said it was all my fault, and she would have gone to her friend's party instead. And we got into a fight, blaming each other, and at last Kathy turned away from me, staring out of the window with a blank look on her face. Perfect. My girlfriend was mad at me. We were robbed. Some of our stuff was stolen, and we still felt sick out of from the food, and we didn't reach Las Vegas as planned. So it was getting late, and we decided to stay at a motel for the night. The first motel we tried was fully booked, and as we were pulling up to the next motel, I bumped into someone's car, and that incident was the climax of all our misfortunes. Also, it was only a scratch on the bumper. I lost, as an honest man, I lost $50 and my victim's windshield wiper blade to pay for the damage. And we we went to the reception. There was a double room available, and we included breakfast, but I'd pass on that one because even thought of food made me sick in the stomach. We filled out a reservation form and checked in. The room was cold, and there was a smell of an old carpet and cigarette smoke. There was something wrong with the heating, but I didn't care anymore. I got an extra blanket and pulled it over my head and fell asleep. The next morning, we checked out and went back home. Kathy never called me again.